My name is Marcus, and for 3 years I lived in a modest apartment on the east side of the city. Worked a steady job, saved every dollar, finally had enough for a down payment on a place of my own. I was 1 week away from signing the papers. My landlord's name was Gerald Sutton. He inherited the building from his father, a decent property, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Gerald took over about 8 months before this all went down, and from day one he looked at his tenants like we were obstacles, things in the way of what he really wanted, higher profit margins. See, another family had come along, offered to pay nearly double what I was paying monthly. Gerald wanted them in my unit. Problem was, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I paid on time, every single month, never a late payment in 3 years. So Gerald decided to make me leave anyway. The eviction papers hit my door on a Tuesday evening. I opened them and my stomach dropped. 3 months behind on rent, the document claimed. 3 months. I scanned the papers twice. 3 times. This couldn't be real. But here's the thing about Gerald Sutton. He didn't know me as well as he thought. See, I keep everything, every single rent payment I ever made, I have a record of. Online transfers, screenshots, email confirmations from my bank, 3 years of perfect payment history, documented, organized, ready, and I knew exactly what Gerald had done. He'd filed false paperwork hoping I'd panic and leave quietly, hoping a young tenant living alone wouldn't have the resources to fight back, hoping I'd roll over and give him what he wanted. What they didn't know was I had nothing to lose except the truth. But the false eviction, that was just the beginning. See, during my move-out inspection, the one Gerald insisted on conducting himself, I noticed something in the basement, something that would change everything. The walls were covered in dark patches, spots that spread into the corners like spreading bruises. The air down there felt heavy, thick, wrong. I'd seen enough to know what black mold looked like, and this was it. And it wasn't just in the basement. I could smell it seeping into the lower units. The building was slowly poisoning its own tenants. And Gerald? He knew. He'd known for months. He just didn't care enough to fix it. So I made a decision. I spent 2 weeks gathering every piece of evidence I had. Bank statements going back 3 years, canceled checks, screenshots of every single online payment. I organized it all in a folder and walked into that courtroom ready. But I brought something else, too. The same day I submitted my defense against the false eviction, I filed a report with the City Housing Authority. Detailed observations, photo evidence, dates, everything I had. And here's what happened next. Inspectors showed up 2 weeks later. Not a simple inspection, a full sweep of the building. They tested the air quality. They checked every unit. They went down to that basement, and they saw exactly what I'd seen. They condemned the building that same afternoon. The twist changes everything. Gerald didn't just lose one tenant. He lost 6 months of rental income. His new family, the ones who'd offered to pay double, they had to be relocated on Gerald's dime. The entire building emptied out, condemned and unsafe. And the fines? $75,000. That's what the city hit him with, not to mention the legal fees, the appeals, the lawyers he had to hire just to try to clean up the mess. And his other tenants, the ones who'd been complaining for months about leaks and air quality, their voices were finally heard, because I made sure the rules applied to everyone. The judge dismissed my eviction with prejudice. Not only was I completely cleared, but I received my full deposit back plus additional damages for the stress and false accusations. Gerald was ordered to pay for temporary housing for every displaced resident. But the real consequence? Gerald's reputation in the rental community took a hit that took years to repair. Word spreads fast when you try to fraud your way into evicting a tenant, only to have that tenant expose dangerous living conditions that you ignored for profit. I saw him once more outside the courthouse during his final appeal. He looked broken, hunched. He didn't even make eye contact when I walked past. Was it satisfying? In the moment, yeah, it felt like justice. But here's what I learned. I didn't set out to destroy this man. I just wanted to defend myself against someone who thought lying would get him what he wanted. When I saw what he was doing to that building, to the people living in it, I knew I couldn't stay quiet. Sometimes the most satisfying thing you can do isn't to fight fire with fire. It's making sure the rules, safety codes, tenant rights, the basic obligations of ownership apply to everyone equally, even landlords named Gerald Sutton. So if you're a landlord watching this, the people in your buildings aren't just income sources, they're families. They're humans trying to build their own lives. And if you're a tenant, document everything. Keep your records, know your rights. Because Gerald Sutton learned the hard way that the truth has a way of coming out, and when it does, it costs everything. If this story hit you, subscribe. I've got more where this came from. And drop your story in the comments below. Have you ever dealt with someone who thought they could get away with lying?